student at Indiana University of Pennsylvania has been expelled from class after pointing out to his historical feminist teacher that there are only two genders. What's up, everybody? Trutherseeker here. Since later this week, I will be defending myself and my First Amendment rights in front of the Academic Integrity Board of the Indiana University of Pennsylvania against allegations of classroom conduct violations, Lake Ingle stated in a Facebook post. CampusReform.org reports the decision made by the AIB that day will determine whether I will be able to continue participating in my full course load as well as graduate this May as scheduled. Ingle continued, adding, "This is not transgender, women rights, or wage issue. This is about free speech and the constant misuse of intellectual power in universities." According to Ingle, the class was forced to watch a TED Talk on February 28th featuring Paula Stone, a transgender woman, who gave examples of mansplaining, male privilege, and systematic sexism. Following the video, Ingle wrote that the instructor opened the floor to women only, barring men from speaking until the women in the class have had their chance to speak. After some time had elapsed, Ingle stated he took this opportunity to point out the official view of biologists who claim there are only two biological genders, and refuted the gender wage gap, after which class resumed as normal. The floor was open and not a single woman spoke. 30 seconds or so passed and still no woman had spoken, so I decided it was permissible for me to enter the conversation, especially because I felt the conversation itself was completely inappropriate in its structure. Ingle told Campus Reform, "I object to use of the anecdotal accounts of a one woman's experience to begin a discussion in which they were considered reality. It was during my objection that Dr. Downey attempted to silence me because I'm not a woman." On February 29th, Ingle met with his instructor, who he says gave him two documents in an academic integrity referral form and documented agreement. Photos of each document, along with the letter of IUP Provost Dr. Timothy Moreland, were provided to Campus Reform. Both the referral form and the agreement charged Ingle with disrespectful objection to the professor's class discussion structure, refusal to stop talking out of turn, angry outbursts in response to being required to listen to a trans speaker discuss the reality of white male privilege and sexism, disrespectful reference to the validity of the trans identity and experience, and making a disrespectful claim that a low score on any classwork would be evidence of professor's personal prejudice. According to the document agreement, IUP is now attempting to force Ingle to apologize, stipulating that Lake will write an apology to the professor which specifically addresses each of the disrespectful behaviors described above. Moreover, the agreement proclaims that on March 8th, Lake will begin class with an apology to the class for his behavior and then listen in silence as the professor and or any student who wishes to speak shares how he or she felt during Lake's disrespectful and disruptive outburst on February 28th. The Office of Provost has received a request from redacted instructor for RLST 481 special topic, self-sin and salvation, to remove you from class due to behaviors that significantly disrupt the learning process in the class. The letter to Ingle from Provost Moreland states, "Due to the serious nature of the issue, you are barred from attending this class in accordance with the classroom disruption policy." Although the instructor of the course is redacted, Professor Allison Downey is listed as the only instructor for that particular course on IUP's website. During the time as a religious studies major, I have had professors insult me for opposing views, call me names such as a racist or sexist, and have my views discredited due to my race, gender, and sexual orientation, Ingle stated in his Facebook post. In short, this is not the first time an instructor and I have had disagreements over course material, or that I have objected to the views being pushed on the class, he continued. That being said, the wording in the document is not only exaggerated, but more than one lie is entirely untruthful and is done so purposely to discredit my views and paint me as intolerant and ignorant. It is my belief that the instructor's decision to file these sanctions is an attempt to bully me into redacting my views, making it a matter of free speech, Ingle concluded. Engel told Campus Reform that he will be defending his First Amendment rights to the University Academic Integrity Board, which will determine whether he will be allowed to resume attending class regularly or be forced to graduate late. The censorship on my college campus is an issue I have tried to take head on in many of my courses, as well as offering the opposing conservative view that many classroom discussions beg for, he said, adding that he is fighting less for himself than more for many other conservative students who endure similar experiences. With regards to my conflict with the university and instructor, I am fighting to make my voice heard. Not only my voice, but the voices of others that oppose popular university opinion. He explained, I am not battling my professor to prove that I am right about gender wage gaps or transgenderism. I am fighting to ensure the students may disagree with their professor, and if they do, must speak up. Campus Reform reached out to Professor Downey and Provost Moreland, but did not receive a response from either in time for the publication. To me, I find it kind of sad that parents and tax dollars and everything else are funding these colleges, and they have liberal professors like this in them that will actually sit there and try to force their beliefs down your kids' throats rather than actually about facts and science. For the professor's argument for saying that men are pretty much sexist and everything else, I'd say what the professor was actually doing was sexism, don't you say? Barring someone from talking because they're not a woman is pretty much the opposite of the professor's argument to begin with, which is a contradiction. Liberal bias like this is not just in colleges, but it's also in regular schools too. Elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, or you have professors and teachers and everybody that have a liberal belief system and they don't actually follow the actual real science and actual facts of anything else, but they'll rather push their liberal beliefs down everybody's throat and try to brainwash them to be just like them instead. Now, would you want your money to fund these people that just keep sitting there trying to create more liberalism in the United States? I wouldn't. Stuff like this is happening in college campuses all around the globe now, and it's literally because of liberalism. Liberalism is a disease, and it is taking over America by having people like this in powerful positions to where they can actually sit there and alter young creative minds into the mold that they want to see, and not what the American standards wants. The biggest stuff about issues like this happening is that usually colleges that are like this, usually the whole entire review board is also the same. And so you're not going to be able to fight your case at all. It's totally a one-sided argument. I couldn't do it. I would never want to go to a college like that. I mean, it's just insanity thinking that this is something that's going to put you in debt for probably the next 20-something years. That you're paying for this, and then this is the way you get treated. To me, it just doesn't seem like a very well purchased to me. I mean, that's almost just like paying for someone to teach you a course, and then they're going to sit there and tell you 2 plus 2 equals 5, when you know 2 plus 2 does not equal 5, but hey, there's $30,000 they're taking from you, so are you going to just put up with it and shut up? Or are you going to actually say something about it? I mean, this is really becoming a very big thing, like across the whole United States. More and more stories are just coming out about these liberal college professors that are just throwing their ideology down all their students' throats when it has nothing to do with actual real facts or science or data. It's all about their beliefs, and they're sitting there forcing this down the students' throats. And so it just really makes you wonder why anybody would actually want to pay to be bullied and harassed like that.